You've been the one constantly texting her, always starting conversations, always keeping the connection alive, always making sure the interaction doesn't fade. Then, one day, you stop. You put your phone down, turn your attention to your own life, and step away from the cycle of constant communication. What happens next is often shocking for men, because the psychology behind her reaction isn't what most people expect. Most men believe that if they stop reaching out, a woman will quickly move on and forget about them. But that belief couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, when a woman who has grown accustomed to your steady attention suddenly experiences silence, her mind follows a very predictable psychological path, one that often leads her to act in ways most men never see coming. The first thing that happens is what psychologists refer to as the curiosity gap. Human brains are wired to seek explanations for sudden changes. When your pattern of consistent communication breaks, her mind instantly begins searching for answers. She wonders, why did he stop? Is he busy? Did something happen? Is he losing interest? This uncertainty doesn't push her away, it actually pulls her deeper into thoughts about you. Ironically, she may think about you more in your silence than she did when you were constantly available. This is where female psychology gets particularly interesting. Women are naturally attuned to changes in relationship dynamics. When you stop initiating, she instantly perceives the shift. The man who once pursued her attention is suddenly unavailable. And this taps into a powerful psychological effect known as the scarcity principle. The moment something that was once abundant becomes scarce, its perceived value increases. Your attention, once taken for granted, now feels rare, and therefore more desirable. After a few days of silence, most women will start paying closer attention to your digital presence. She might check your social media more often, scroll through your posts, or even watch your online activity for clues. This digital detective work is her way of gathering information without directly asking what's going on. It's a subtle form of curiosity, but it's also driven by something deeper: loss aversion. Humans naturally feel the pain of losing something far more strongly than the pleasure of gaining something new. When your attention disappears, she begins to feel the absence more intensely than she ever appreciated the presence. At this point, it's common for her to reach out. The first contact usually comes in the form of something light, casual, and seemingly unrelated to your silence. She might send a funny meme, ask a random question about something you mentioned weeks ago, or invent a small excuse to message you. On the surface, it looks like nothing, but in reality, these are her attempts to re-establish a connection without appearing vulnerable or needy. What most men don't realize is that during this period of no contact, her perception of you begins to shift. Without new, everyday interactions to dilute her memories, she starts focusing on the highlights of your past connection. She recalls the positive moments more vividly, romanticizes your conversations, and unconsciously filters out the mundane or negative parts. Psychologists call this process rosy retrospection. Combined with reactance theory, the tendency to want something more when access feels restricted, this makes her feel a renewed attraction toward you. Her responses, once you've withdrawn, often grow noticeably warmer. Messages get longer, more personal, and filled with genuine interest. She may even escalate by suggesting plans, becoming more flirtatious, or showing stronger enthusiasm for interacting with you. This isn't calculated manipulation. It's a natural, deeply human psychological reaction to perceived loss. And this is where the dynamic truly flips. When you stop doing all the work, she is forced to step forward. Instead of passively receiving your attention, she begins to actively invest in winning it back. This change in behavior often deepens her emotional investment in a relationship, because what we work for, we tend to value more. The key lesson here is simple but powerful. Strategic withdrawal creates balance. By stepping back and focusing on your own life instead of endlessly pursuing, you shift the dynamic into one where both people must contribute to keeping the connection alive. This doesn't mean playing games or trying to manipulate anyone. It's about understanding basic human psychology and allowing natural attraction to work in your favor. Healthy relationships are built on mutual effort, not one-sided chasing. When you stop being constantly available, you encourage her to value your presence, respect your time, and invest in maintaining the bond. And when both people are contributing equally, the connection not only grows stronger, it becomes far more rewarding.